best known as the frontman for Iron Maiden, but Bruce Dickinson is a man of many, many talents, and he's sharing them with an audience in Calgary in his spoken word tour. In An Evening with Bruce Dickinson, you can hear him talk about his life, his music, and a whole lot more. And we are very pleased to have Bruce Dickinson join us from Los Angeles. Hi, Bruce.
Hi there. Well, that sounds very good, doesn't it? Sounds almost grown up.
Sounds like tons of fun.
From Los Angeles.
Yeah, sounds
like
great.
I've been doing something useful here.
Now listen, the contrast between an Iron Maiden concert and a spoken word performance is so great. Why did you want to perform for people in this way now?
Well, I mean, the first thing to note is there's no drummer, and that's a major source of inspiration. Not having a drummer, you see. I mean, drummers they need trucks and buses and loads of people to carry their drums and everything. So, no drummer, you can hear yourself think. So there are a few drummer jokes during the show, I have to say. So make no apology if you happen to be a drummer or even a musician. Then yeah.
Now I love your hat. You got an airplane on your hat, and that comes very naturally to you. You have a long interest in aviation. You have an aviation company. You're a pilot as well. I got to ask you, what's the greater thrill, performing in front of a packed audience or taking off as the pilot of a jet?
Well, that's actually a non-starter. That's the easy one. I mean, taking off as a pilot in a jet is kind of cool. I did it for a living for 10, 12 years. I was actually an airline pilot for a regular airline in the UK, which people think I just did the Ed Force One stuff, but I actually did 6,500 hours of flying passengers around. But that's great. But lots of people can do that, and not too many people can go and stand in front of one of the world's greatest rock and roll bands and yell and scream and wear ridiculous trousers at my age.
Aviation and music are just among your many, many interests. You have other businesses as well. You've been involved in a brewery. You've written a couple of novels. You've done a screenplay as well. I wonder, do you have tips for people on time management?
No, absolutely none whatsoever. I'm strangely very disorganized about that sort of thing. Well, no, not disorganized, unwilling. That would be the word. I really hate time management. I realize that you have to do it, like you have to be there in places at certain times. But when it comes in terms of creativity, I don't work to a timetable. Mm-hmm. You have to be creative when you're feeling creative, and I mean, for example, somebody wanted me to go and start, doing some stuff on a new book. And I went, well, yeah, that's great. I said, yeah, but you could write it when you're doing your spoken word tour. I went, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, because for 3 hours a day, my brain is absolutely saturated with doing the show. And then for the rest of the day, I'm just trying to basically take my brain out and just like a squeegee mop and rinse it clean. I've got no space for doing anything else.
Right. So is it just a matter of passion, in that you get up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, and you think, I really, really, really want to do this, and you're gone. You're off in a different direction.
Well, yes, it can work like that. Yes, I mean, I've worked like that on things in the past. So, when I was doing, airline pilot training, then yes, you go, right, okay, clear the decks, make a big space, and get down to the books and have a scratch pad and start scribbling things down. When you're doing an album or writing music, you need to put yourself in a different kind of headspace, where you're thinking more laterally. And I find changing surroundings helps. I mean, I did a lot of I write a lot of lyrics, like walking around daydreaming, literally just walking the streets. In fact, people sometimes, if I had a cup, people would give me money,
Mm-hmm. Now, another part of your story is that you are a cancer survivor. You had chemotherapy a few years ago. You've put cancer behind you. What can you say to anyone who has been diagnosed recently with cancer?
Well, obviously, everybody's cancer is intensely personal because it's yours. It's your thing. That's how I dealt with it anyway. And the first thing I think to say about that is to rid yourself of any guilt that you've got this disease. Because people seek to blame them. So, oh my God, it's my fault. It's this. It's a judgment from God. It's because I did a bad thing to a hamster when I was 6. It's none of those things. As my oncologist said to me, because I had throat cancer, as do thousands of men with the same thing. It's just HPV related throat cancer. It's luckily, if there's a good cancer to have, it's one of the better ones because they really can treat it very effectively, and it's usually chemo and radiation. But that was what worked for me. But when I said to my oncologist, I said, look, I'm fit. I don't, I'm not a heroin addict. I'm not there. Why me? And he said, sorry, buddy. He said, it's just bad luck. Mm-hmm. And actually that made life a lot easier for me to deal with, because up till then I've been looking for somebody to blame. And if I couldn't find anybody, it was going to be me. The last thing you need to do if you have cancer is blame yourself. Just save yourself and get on with the treatment. And by the way, the treatments are getting so much better and better and better.
Mm-hmm. What a great message. Bruce, thank you very much for speaking with us today. I don't know if you say break a leg before a spoken word performance, but break a leg?
Well, you always could. I mean, I've got a whole range of orthopedic implants now. So I snapped my Achilles 2.5 years ago. That was fun. And then during lockdown, I had to do something for a hobby to sort of I don't know if it's qualifies as scarification, but I got a man to hammer 5.5 inches of titanium into my leg to replace my hip, which is awesome. Honestly, I'm jumping around, I'm fencing again, I'm competing. I mean, it's brilliant.
Sounds great. Well, listen, enjoy your trip to Calgary, and thank you very much for sharing some time with us today.
Cool. I'll see you there.
You betcha. An Evening with Bruce Dickinson is March 21st at the Jack Singer Concert Hall. For more information, go online to artscommons.ca or screamforme.com. And for more information on Bruce himself and Iron Maiden, of course, they're on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
All right.